Hey, good morning, everyone. So we are very fortunate to have a strong chamber in this community. We had the Wake Up Whittier the other day over at Whittier Hospital, and one of the people who's running for state senate, who's not from here, came up to me and said, "Is this the way it always is with so many people?" And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "I'm all over this district. I haven't seen a chamber operate like this." I said, "That's correct. There's only one Whittier Chamber of Commerce." Yeah. So kudos for the professional staff and the board members and for the long legacy of this chamber. So I'm going to bring a couple things to you that I want to talk about, and Jeff's got a lot of cool stuff, stuff that you're gonna like. So a couple updates. I so much appreciate what this chamber's done relative to keep California safe. I have regularly participated. I'm on the working committee, the statewide committee, and I can tell you that much, I don't want to say that the genesis, but much of this initiative came out of this community. There was already a growing understanding that people weren't feeling as safe as they should be. And I think we finally figured that out here in Whittier. And then Officer Boyer was killed and Officer Hazel was shot. And what it did, it coalesced what was going on statewide. Remember, officers had been killed in Palm Springs by AB 109er, LA County Sheriffs, Sacramento County Sheriffs. It coalesced when that happened. And out of that, from the city manager and the city council and the staff, came some reforms that we took just in the local area, and it started resonating and it went statewide. And that's what this initiative is. And I'm pleased to tell you they're turning in signatures on Monday. And it looks like we had about 575,000, 580,000. We need 380,000 qualified signatures, people who are registered to vote, etc. So they're turning them in. We think that we got plenty of signatures. We're crossing our fingers that it will be looked at quickly by the registrar of voters in each county, and it'll be on the November 2018 ballot. And I'm going to tell you, it's not lost on the proponents of the initiative the role that Whittier has taken. In fact, I believe, they were checking, but I believe in terms of voluntary signatures, I think the most they got were from LA County, and I think in LA County it was, I believe, it's Whittier. So kudos to all of you. But it's not over, because we have a push, and I'm going to be real candid with you. Jerry Brown doesn't like it. He has $14 million in campaign funds. He's retiring, and he's threatened that he's going to use that money against this initiative. So we're going to see. Trust me, you don't want to know. We have a great town here. We have a great life. You don't know, and you don't want to know a lot of stuff that's going on politically, all right? So there's going to be more on that. Thank you for everyone who has been so involved, including the chamber. Quickly, one of the things that has concerned me, and I know it's for the city council also, and before I forget, Fernando couldn't be here today. He's got some personal issues he has to deal with, so he asked me to let you all know that he's sorry he's not here, but he had to deal with some things. When I went door to door, people told me they liked the direction of the community, but there was this idea that maybe we're not getting our voice out, we're not listening, maybe we're not telling everybody what's going on in the community. I mean, you all are here because you are involved in business, but there's a whole lot of people who don't watch Channel 3 reality television of Whittier, and it is reality. And so one of the things that I'm concerned about, and I think we're going to be pushing, is more communication. We're going to tell you what we're doing. We're going to say, please come and talk to us. Let us know. Your city council members are wide open to listening, and we really do want input. I think Jeff's going to talk a little bit about that also. Okay, so some of you, I just got back from Las Vegas. No, it's not what you think. all right? It was actual work, big time work. We had 10 or 12 meetings on Monday with developers, with retailers, a lot of the people who own property here in Whittier. And so ICSC is where developers and the retailers and the restaurants and the brokers and public agencies all get together to talk. And if they can work it out, they do deals. I mean, there were literally thousands of people there. And we were moving back and forth. I don't know if any of you ever been to the convention center there, but they have 3 halls. And I mean, they're massive. And so we were there basically, myself and Katie and Connell, to talk about Whittier. And I was so excited because I did something on Facebook. I said, hey, what are you all interested in? What kind of retail do you want here in Whittier? What would excite you? And thank you, many people got back and said, we want a bookstore, we want a Costco, we got, blah, blah, blah. And so we reached out to a lot of those folks. And while we were there, we met with a bunch of well-known restaurants, movie theaters, home decor companies, sporting goods, healthy living concepts. We met with Costco. And it was very cool as we were walking around and saw all the retailers that were there. We have a bunch of those retailers here in Whittier already, which was very nice. But many of those retailers they've already planted themselves in other places, and we are in their trade area. And they're not going to come into the trade area and cannibalize their base. And we got that from a couple people. And so I want you all to be aware that, yeah, we tried, but we were told by several that, Costco, for example, they just said, we're just opening up Monterey Park, and we got La Habra, and we got Norwalk, and look you're right in the middle radius-wise of those 3, and that's our trade area. So we talked to Bed Bath and Beyond. We talked to Porto's, Nordstrom, the Rack, same issue. Just so that you are all aware, we went and talked to them. Okay, so no one's sitting on there. All right. Excuse me, that was on the script, not on the script. I just got embarrassed. Okay. So we weren't just looking at new businesses, but we were looking at our existing shopping centers and trying to come up with some new ideas. You all need to understand the Amazon effect, it's out there. And big boxes are having a very, very difficult time, acclimating and changing. And if you think about it, we have a number of big boxes in Whittier. This is not a Whittier phenomenon. It's across the country. They had seminars on this. And what do you do with big boxes if someone goes out of business, for example? So there was a lot of discussion about that. And so shopping centers are looking to reposition themselves, and the trends are shifting. One of the things that we have to do as a city, as a chamber, as a community, is we've got to be on top of this. I can tell you, I think there's a bunch of cities that are not on top of it. We're going to be on top of it as it's shifting and changing. And it's very, very dynamic. What we heard here last week is different than what was going on even 2 years ago because of the Amazon effect. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be working closely with the council, the staff, the chamber, on where we think we should be focused. And it was also very interesting. They were talking about shopping centers are being replaced by places that offer an experience. And this is a cultural thing, it's a demographic thing, and it is a generational thing. There's more emphasis on, well, I'm going to go shop, but I want to be able to do this over there. I want to be able to do that over there. And so that's what it's kind of evolving into. So because of that, we started thinking about it. And, here in Whittier, we have 4 destinations. We have the Whitwood, we have the Quad, we have the Uptown, and we have now the Groves. Each one of those, think about this, everyone, each one of them have a unique demographic, a unique retail mix, and they provide different things for different parts of our community. And if you think about the experience in Uptown, that's different than an experience that you would have at the Quad. Or it's different than an experience that you'll have at the Groves, or different than the experience you'll have at the Whitwood as this is starting to evolve. So as a community, it's really cool. We've got 4 distinct destination areas. And so as part of that, we were dreaming. Some of you have heard me and others in the community talk about doing a people mover. And we talked about that with some of the developers and some of the owners of the shopping centers. And you know what? The light bulb went on. Imagine having a people mover system that went through, started up at the college, went down Philadelphia through the Uptown destination area, then down into the Groves destination area, and to the hospital. By the way, we have to hit our job centers. Out Lambert, back up to the Whitwood Destination Center, which is going to be changing and evolving. Then down Whittier Boulevard to the Quad destination, then back up to Whittier College, which is another job center. And this blew my mind. Someone got it and they said, that's a great idea. Someone who owns property in Whittier, a lot of property. And the comment came up, not only does this reduce traffic, because it's on a regular basis, they even talked about, get this, they even talked about doing an autonomous vehicle that is electric, that's on a track type of system with sensors. I mean, electric vehicles are out there. I'm not sure how safe they are right now, but as time comes by, think about it. So you have this people mover going around the city, hitting the job centers, hitting the 4 destination areas, and it's clean and it's dependable. And we talked about, how do you pay for that? Well, this is still a couple years in the future, but it was totally cool. People that we talked to were getting it. So I want you to start thinking about it also to get it, because it's just a little bit on the horizon. We need, as a city, to be thinking outside the box. We need to be fresh. We need to be vibrant. Even old people need to be thinking young. All right? As millennials come up and the shopping trends change and we have destinations. So one of the takeaways from this that I got was that when we went and talked to a bunch of developers and owners here and retailers, most of them had already done their homework on Whittier. I mean, I remember going, last time I went was in 2008, we were going around, Whittier, what? Where's that? Oh, it's halfway between downtown LA and Disneyland. Oh, okay. When we went this year, they knew who we were. We were on the map. They had done their homework. So it was very cool, and Whittier is a premier destination for quality businesses. And one of the things we want to do, of course, is we're looking for retailers to bring sales tax, because that's what basically we live on, but we also want them providing good quality jobs. And so that's what we were talking about also. So I was really excited, and I'm really excited about what's going on at the former Fred C. Nellis, the Groves. All right, from now on, everyone, it is the Groves. Fred C. Nellis is dead. All right, it is the Groves. And we met with the developer who's doing the commercial retail there, and we had a great discussion. We talked about a long list of outstanding retailers for the Groves, because we're still on the cusp of who those people are going to be. So, while I cannot mention any names, but 1, 2, 3. So, with the City Council, our partnership with the Chamber, I think Whittier's future is looking very, very tasty indeed. Thank you.
Pretty cool, huh? All right, moving on here. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on. I want to thank the Chamber for the opportunity again this year to talk about what's happening in the city. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for kicking this off. Obviously, there's a lot to chat about here, so let's move quickly here. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about city council issues. We got city projects. We've got economic development issues. We have uptown focus that is going on. We have some public safety issues. Yeah, we got some fiscal issues. That's why Rod's here. And then we also have some opportunities for how we can stay connected. So we'll talk a little bit about these, so let's dive in. Our city council, long legacy here in our community, and our current council, very proud to have opportunity to work with them, and they're doing a great job. They have a full plate. We just come through an election, and no, we are not slowing down after the election. We're actually scheduling extra meetings for the next few months, and so we are actually have pedal to the metal right now, a lot going on. We also will be changing our elections going forward. So you will notice that come 2020, we will actually be moving our election from April to March. And that will save us over $300,000 by consolidating with the County of LA. Now let's talk a little bit about city projects and services. We've got Palm Park. The pool has been renovated. It is now open. It's a fantastic facility. We appreciate Janice Hahn stepping up and helping us with the funding for this particular project. And let me tell you, we're ready for summer and hope you are as well. The facility is just beautiful. We also have taken Leo Owens Park and expanded that. We've purchased additional land, and so we're going to be adding a little over 13,000 square feet to that park, and we're in the process of designing those improvements. We'll be looking at things like the water feature that is there. Right now, that is not a recycled system, recirculation system. We want to make sure it is, because that water otherwise just goes down the drain. So we're going to be changing that, and so we're in design for both the renovation of the existing park and the expansion of the new land. So that'll be a great asset for that neighborhood. Also, Kaboom is coming back. Greg, what's this, the fourth time? Fourth time. They are back, bringing a corporate sponsor with them to help us redo a playground, this time at Broadway Park. And we're very excited. That will likely occur this fall, September, October timeframe. And so be prepared for that. What another exciting opportunity to enhance our park facilities for our community. Also, we have donated public art. We have an artist that has donated this piece of art. We are looking at locating it along the Greenway Trail right at Hadley. And so this will be coming forward here in the next few months as well. So another addition to our facilities. Not the sexy part, but our water and sewer system is something that we've talked about, and I've underscored this year after year about how important this is. Well, as you can see, we're making great strides. Just our sewer lines, we've replaced over 5 miles in the last 2 years, but we're going to be doing over 8 miles in the coming 2 years. So we're lengthening our stride. Our water lines, we've replaced nearly 8 miles in the last 2 years. No, we're going to go to 10 miles in the coming 10 years, or 2 years. And that's going to be just critical as we continue to replace our 60, 70, 80, 90, 100-year-old lines that are out there in our streets. And that'll take care of the next several generations. So a very important investment. Suburban Water is out investing in their system over on the east end of town and around Lucerna High School. They'll be replacing lines this summer ahead of us coming in and doing some street paving. So they're working hard on it. Our Savage Canyon landfill, we're very unique in having a landfill here. It gives us an opportunity to dispose of waste here locally rather than trucking it long distances and paying that cost. So we've been operating this landfill. We just are ready to start a new waste cell disposal area that'll serve us for a number of years. It's a large cost. It's about $4.5 million. They'll be moving over 427,000 cubic yards of earth for this operation, but this will provide us with a great opportunity to continue our operations. We have a lifespan that'll lead us out to about 2071. I will not be around then. So that's going to be going on. You'll see the large compactor there. We have a compactor. We just had the city council approve a new purchase to replace this one. That is an $800,000 piece of equipment, and so that will be replaced here shortly. Our central library. Obviously, we have a lot of needs in our library. We're going to be talking to you further. Unfortunately, Measure L narrowly missed being passed, but we have some significant issues with the condition of the library, and we want to continue to have it open. We're going to be rebooting this process. We're working with the city council. We have serious electrical issues, serious plumbing issues, mechanical HVAC issues with the building. This isn't a matter of whether it looks cool or sexy. It's about keeping the building safe and open, and we're going to be talking further about that. Clean Power Alliance. Again, we're out now looking at ways to provide greener energy at a lower cost for our community, and the City Council has joined in with Clean Power Alliance as one of the members. You'll see that we'll be shifting our proportion of renewable energy generated for users here in town from 34% up to 50% by going with CPA. We will actually start receiving CPA power here in Whittier in 2019. And again, I think another great move and going green even further. Technology is going to also be a very important item in the coming few years. And we're looking at the rollout of 5G wireless technology. And we're used to seeing the large towers around town. That technology changes, and you're going to see much smaller cells dotting throughout the community, many of them mounted on streetlights. And that technology is something we want to be in the forefront of to give our community and our businesses especially that access to high-speed data and all the other services that come with 5G. And so you'll be hearing more about this as well in the next year. Mobility. Mobility is a big issue in our community. I know that many of you have heard the complaints. Many of you have complained about traffic issues. What are we doing? We have a lot of projects we are working on. We're working on some of our key intersections, working with Metro and with the Gateway Cities Council of Governments and their hotspots projects. We have 4 intersections in our community that we're looking at intersection improvements that will actually reduce the delay at each of these intersections. And City Council took action Tuesday night on 2 of those locations. They previously have taken action on approving the environmental review document for 5 points. The county is taking the lead for the improvements at Norwalk and Whittier Boulevard. Those are going to be critical improvements that will likely occur here in the next 3 to 4 years, but are going to be important to allowing people to move on Whittier Boulevard. We also know that a lot of that congestion isn't local traffic. I actually had my staff go out and do some research to find out how many homes, how many units have been built or approved in our neighboring 3 or 4 cities to the east of us. Over 5,000 units have been approved or built in our neighboring cities. And so we're feeling the effects of a lot of drive-through traffic from our neighboring communities, not from local development. We also, if you see Colima, north-south traffic, that is a lot of pass-through traffic, so we're feeling the effects of that. Nellis is coming, and yes, we know we're going to have traffic, but Nellis is also investing in over $1 million in improvements, also widening of Whittier Boulevard and traffic signal improvements as well. So we're happy to see those things coming forward. We're also working with our regional agencies on some signal synchronization projects. And so there are 3 projects that are currently underway. Lambert Road we will be moving forward with here at the same time that we actually do the Greenway Trail extension. Mills and Florence to the south of us is also another synchronization project. And then Beverly Boulevard and moving into the communities to our west is also a synchronization project that is underway. So again, we're working on keeping people moving through our community. Regional transportation, we're also working on how do we deal with transit? And so we're continuing to work on the Gold Line. Metro is working on the environmental impact report for the Gold Line. It'll likely take about 20 months to get through that process, and then hopefully Metro will then select the Washington Boulevard alignment and move forward with construction. It's a project that is actually on the 2028 listing of projects, and so we want to see that happen. The I-605 improvements are also being discussion, and we are working with Caltrans and Metro on that particular project. There'll be some advanced early projects that will move forward, including improvements at Beverly Boulevard and redoing those ramps. We're pushing them to also widen Whittier Boulevard under the freeway in the future. So a number of reconfigurations that are being looked at. As I said, the Nellis intersection improvements will go forward, but we're also had the City Council issue an RFP just Tuesday night that will also look at all of Whittier Boulevard, connecting the hotspot projects as well as the Nellis improvements and any other improvements that are necessary along Whittier Boulevard. And so we're doing a comprehensive look at our transportation system through Whittier Boulevard. So lots happening in the area of mobility in our community. A lot of repaving going on. We've just recently completed Mar Vista paving on the east end. We have a number of streets that are due for paving on the east end that will occur here this summer. We're also working jointly with the City of La Habra on Valley Home, which is a joint street between our communities, and that will be repaved as well. Greenway Trail East will be extended, and we are in design right now and hope to be out and under construction here by the end of the year. That's our goal. Very exciting project. And so another 2.8 miles that'll take us to the city limits, to the county line, and a great opportunity for getting out there and exercising and commuting for some that do that. Also, we have Safe Routes to School projects that we do. Probably one of the last ones that we have out there is Lucerna Drive to lead up to Lucerna High School. If you are familiar with the area, you know many of the students walk in the street. That is not a good situation. We've dealt with a portion of that area, but we want to get all the way down to Whittier Boulevard, and so that will be coming next year. Also, you may have seen the article in the paper yesterday. Union Pacific Railroad is upgrading their facilities, and we have 5 intersections where they will actually be taking and placing the concrete panels, so we will have smooth access over their rails at 5 crossing locations. Very excited about that. That project starts next week. So if you're heading down one of these streets here, take a look at the dates that are out there. We can have those out there on our city website. You may want to avoid that. There's going to be some closures, but it'll be a short duration, and they'll move through there quickly, but it'll make much easier access over those crossings. Economic development. Let's talk a little bit about what's happening and the folks that are investing in our community that we're very excited about. Unemployment statistics to start with. We have some good things to say about what's happening. We're at 3.9% as of last month. That's very good. We have a lot of people employed in our community, but we're still looking for more opportunities, but we're quite healthy right now. We've added 101 new businesses. That's a net number. We know people close businesses and new businesses come in. This is a net number, 101 new businesses in the last year. Very, very exciting. Also, we're adding new technology. This is something that I've wanted since I got here, is a new permit system. We had paper systems. We've gone wireless. We do have computers. So on the left, you see that everything is issued electronically. We can print it out for you too. But on the right-hand side, that is no longer a clipboard that an inspector scrawls his notes on. We have tablets that our inspectors use. They can download that and print out a report or a corrections list for our contractors. And so again, great technology. We're moving forward with that. Less paper in our offices. I'm looking forward to being able to get rid of some file cabinets around City Hall. So we have projects that are out there. Obviously, Friendly Hills Marketplace made a big splash this last year. They're filling up their last tenants. Bergram will be opening up out there here later this summer, likely. And then Mattress Firm just opened, and that entire center will be 100% filled. Couple new businesses, Churroholic and Hiccups have opened up, and this is out in the old Friendly Hills Lanes building. And again, that will fill up all the tenant spaces in that particular building, along with Aldi's and Bevmo. We have the Whittier Crossings, and again, Grub Burger Bar went in there and is doing very well. And soon we will have our last tenant in there, Off the Hook Fish, excuse me. And so they are finishing their tenant improvements right now, looking forward to having them open. But again, great mix of uses. US Bank, just up the street, finished their new building, and very attractive building. Nice job. The old Sackett and Peters building, it's been vacant for quite a while. Well, not for long. Harbor Freight is going to be moving in there. So we're very excited about that. So that'll be nice to have that activity going on. Also, the Park Plaza facades, they actually failed and were falling off the building. And it was unsafe, and so they had to quickly go in there and tear them down. We've worked with them. They are doing a facade remodel. And so if you go out there now, you see they're under construction, and that entire center is going to look much nicer. Though Jack's will retain their same architecture, the rest of the center is going to look very nice. Also, we've got vacant buildings like this on Hadley, and it's been kind of sad, kind of underutilized property. Well, they're approved, and they're moving forward with a handsome remodel and renovation to these buildings here that will be very attractive. We have a number of housing projects that are at various stages of development right now, and looking to see them move forward. The bottom project here is currently under construction out on the site. They had to actually take some of the old oil wells and re-abandon those per state standards, and so that work has all been done. We have the 5 Points Apartments behind the 5 Points car wash. And again, the car wash is being preserved and will be renovated. But if you go out there today, you'll notice that all the buildings behind are gone. And so they've finished that demolition. We had a lot of vagrants, homeless in there, and doing a lot of crazy stuff and drug activity and graffiti. All that is off the site and gone. So we're excited about that. Just Tuesday night, the City Council approved another housing project, 13-unit apartment complex, contemporary architecture. This is on an old railroad spur that has been vacant since 1940s. And again, more development right across the street from PIH. So again, takes a site that has been an attractive nuisance for many homeless and gets that cleaned up. Then the Groves, formerly that other facility that the mayor referenced that we don't reference anymore. Very excited about moving forward with this $300 million investment in our community. Again, 750 homes. We have preservation of 4 historic buildings, new shopping center coming in, some unnamed tenants coming in. We'll see some park space. We have an ongoing revenue stream of $1 million a year that will be coming in, as well as one-time mitigation payments coming in of nearly $11 million. So great investment in our community. We had our groundbreaking last month. That was just a great time after so many years of so much effort, and many of you in this room have been a part of that process. And I want to say thank you for all of your support on those efforts. If you go out there today, yeah, it's still a prison, but it's coming down. And they're ready to knock down some buildings. They've been tearing out a lot of vegetation and cleaning out the buildings. So it's really starting to change. You can start seeing through the site. You see the building in the back behind. That's the chapel's building that will actually be preserved. And so we have a lot of things happening. But we have plans for what is coming. And it's very attractive. We'll see who, as things come into view, as to who the tenants might be. But we have nice architecture. It'll be very rich, quality development. You have architecture here that will actually take and reference the architecture of some of the buildings coming down. This is going to be a new market hall or food hall similar to the packing house in Anaheim concept that they want to, and they're utilizing the architecture from the gymnasium that will be coming down, but they will utilize that architecture and bring that into the site. So great way to pay honor to what used to be there. Uptown. Was this last week? One-way traffic on Greenleaf? Boy, that was long before I ever got here. Looks like early 60s. We have a lot of city investments going on right now with our former redevelopment bond funds, looking at our streetscape plan that the city council will be working with our consultants on here this summer. We have water and sewer system upgrades so we can help facilitate new development. We have new parking structure coming. We've got reconstruction of our surface parking lots. In order to help that be accomplished, we needed to have a temporary place to put people. So this is the Alpha Beta site. Looks a little different. We have a temporary lot that we will utilize for redoing some of our surface lots, as well as when we construct the new parking structure, we have a place to put people, and they're not just going to go into the neighborhoods and park. So this has been planned all along. This is why we've been holding the Alpha Beta site, because we knew we were going to need it when we started doing things on our parking lots. So what happens when we get moving under construction on these other projects in the parking structure? We are going to be preparing an RFP. The city council is going to be talking about what they want us to go after, and we will be going out to the development community soliciting proposals so we can start planning development of this site as well, because this is going to be a catalytic project for the rest of Uptown. Our parking structure is under design right now, and again, we hope to be looking to be under construction by the end of the year or early next year on this project. We have the Whittier Uptown Improvement Association, as again, a partnership of our property owners in Uptown working together, looking to invest in how we clean up Uptown, how we market Uptown. Very important items. We'll be talking about security options and how we can partner with those things. Very important part of our community. And again, something that there was huge support for amongst the owners, and I have to say thank you to the owners for stepping up in a big way. And this is going back to our, yes, definitely. This goes back to our Uptown specific plan adopted many years ago, but it called for the formation of this organization, and they've stepped up, and we're excited about what they're going to do in helping us transform Uptown. Whittier Courthouse is reopened. I'm looking forward. It's great to have all the hustle and bustle. It creates a little bit of a problem for parking issues because people don't want to park in their parking structure. They want to park in front of City Hall. So we're having a little discussion with them on that. But hey, it's great to have that problem. It's great to have, hopefully, more lunch trade for our local restaurants and people shopping. And that's the vitality that we missed, and I'm glad it's back. And so, again, we had our ribbon cutting. Obviously, Ian Calderon did a great amount of work to help bring this forward, and we want to say thank you again to Ian for all of his work on this. Let me bring the chief up. We're going to have him chat a little bit about public safety here. So, Chief, what's happening in the way of public safety?
It's not going to be as sexy as what you're talking about. I'm a little disappointed with the Groves, though, because even though we like that, you didn't mention a donut shop. Yeah, you can't say everything, right? Okay, I appreciate that. So talk a little bit about Part 1 crimes. Those are the crimes that are reported to the FBI. All cities report these crimes. You can go online and you can see that on an annual basis. I think this is important because this shows year to date. We're down 11% from last year, although we're coming up to the summertime. It's good numbers from my point of view. Just real quick, when you see the 50% increase in rape, every time when I talk to community members about that, the concern, obviously, it's a terrible crime. The increase has typically been where the suspect and victims knew each other or had a dating relationship or something like that. So I don't want people to think that it was somebody that was walking down the street at night and was accosted or something like that. So there was some type of relationship, but regardless, that increase is not good. The burglary, the commercial retail, we have an increase so far this year. That's partly due to, if you saw in the paper, we had a lot of thefts from the middle schools with the iPads that they were getting in the classrooms. And also breaking windows of commercial businesses and taking cash registers. Yeah, the cell phones, if you've seen that, cell phones is a huge issue of these businesses. They're coming in and taking cell phones from different establishments. What is good is we had an increase in, I know the mayor had talked about it many times, I've talked about it, with the theft increase because of Prop 47 and AB 109. And we're seeing that decline a little bit with regards to vehicles being stolen. Residential burglaries are down right now. Shoplifting's down. But the big increase is the thefts from vehicles, up 73%. That's what you see if you guys are on like Nextdoor and all that. My captain, Aviv Bar, who sends out all these notices and reminders about things, that's the one we have the most control over because most of the victims are leaving their cars unlocked and leaving things in plain sight. So those are the ones where they're trying the door locks at night and they're going through and they're taking a purse, they're taking a pair of sunglasses, they're taking anything they can get. So that one can really be reduced with the help of everyone by locking the vehicles and just taking things out of your vehicles. The fact is when we do catch those, because of the way the rules are in the state of California, they're not getting any time, they're not going to jail, but they're barely getting probation. So the best thing you can do is just prevent it, and that's by taking everything out. The last one, real quick, is the arsons. That was up just a few. We had some trash can fires, if you will. We don't know why they were caused, but that's really what that was, with some trash cans in Uptown that were caught on fire. Everybody knows about our mental health evaluation team. They're still going strong. This is just since January, so I want to keep you up to date just from January till now. They've responded on 180 calls for service. They do field interventions for anybody needing, who is having a mental health crisis or needs referral. They've done a lot of evaluations in the field, referrals, and they also do school threat assessments at the schools if there's a call of a concern about a student or anything like that with behavior. They do those threat assessments and work with the school districts on that as well. This is somewhat of a new temporary detail, if you will. We started it in January. If you recall, council approved a problem area policing team to be developed. We're currently hiring, but hiring is very difficult in law enforcement. It has been for several years. Every law enforcement agency throughout California, really the nation, they cannot stay completely staffed. It's just really tough to get qualified people. In any case, my executive staff was able to work around our patrol staffing, staying within budget, of course. And you're welcome. And we have 2 patrol officers that have been out since January. You might have seen them. They work a 2-man team, and they've been going around to all the parks, all the complaints that we get of quality of life issues in the alleys, retail, commercial businesses in Uptown, all over. And so far since January, they've done over 260 street arrests for drugs, drug scales, paraphernalia, weapons, camping, trespass, warrants, probation, parole violations. And a lot of these have been at the parks and things like that. So they've cleared over 66 encampments. We work with the city, with David Pelser and his crew now, where they're coming out and, I'm sorry, Pelser, why did I say Pelser? Sorry about that, Dave. You're going to be a short time anyway, right? He's retirement age, I'm just saying. I wish I was his age. The truckloads of debris in the shopping carts is really important, I think, for this community because it's a quality of life issue. We're working on a shopping cart ordinance, if you will. People always ask about, well, how come you can't just cite them and take the shopping carts? Unfortunately, there's a lot of rules and laws with regards to shopping carts. Apparently, our elected officials in the state of California spend a lot more time on the shopping cart ordinances than the other laws they should be focusing on. But there's not a lot we can do with it, and so we're going to come back and work probably with the retailers and getting the right information on the shopping carts so that we can enforce, because there has to be certain things written on there, phone numbers and stuff like that for us to even enforce the shopping carts. So that's quite a bit of shopping carts since January, but you can imagine that if we weren't doing it with the city and with Public Works, there'd be a lot of shopping carts and things around the community. So this team, real quick, this team I anticipate to become full-time probably within the next 2 to 3 months, and we'll get that up and running. We do have a new radio system that the council approved that's coming in, that's digital for our police officers. It's definitely needed. It's really aged, and we've been putting it off for quite some time. And so that's in the process right now. That should go live before the end of the year. We're hoping that that goes live. That's an awesome thing. Yeah, over $2 million. The technology is not cheap, that's for sure. And I just talked about our prominent policing team. One other thing I wanted to mention is you'll probably see we have some money that's afforded to us that we use annually for Uptown, specifically for Uptown security and patrolling. We usually do it in the summertime, part-time. They usually start in June, they go through September. We have some new bicycles that we purchased, and we have officers being trained on them. So this summer when they're up there working, you're probably going to see them on bicycles. So I think that's a good thing. We can't make it full-time, but they will be up there in Uptown this summer on bicycles. So I think that was it. Yeah. Oh, we got Neighborhood Watch. So Neighborhood Watch, that's really important. I know that it's been important to the council and the mayor, and we're almost up to 100 neighborhood watch groups now for the entire city. That's not including the groups that decide that they want to do it on their own, or they do it just through social media. Like, let's say they start their own private Facebook group. We don't capture that, so that's not part of the numbers I just provided to you. But it's extremely important because we can't be everywhere all the time, and we get a lot of information from these groups. They know who belongs in their community, and they're on their blocks, and they're reporting suspicious activity, and it's really important because that's really what it is, seeing something and saying something and staying involved in your neighborhood. So I believe we had brought some pamphlets and stuff regarding Neighborhood Watch, so we're really pushing that. We're also got some direction from council to increase our efforts in this area through possible another person coming on board to help us push out more information and actually grow it even more. So we're looking forward to that. The one last thing real quick is I had the opportunity in the last 2 weeks, some of my staff and I went to California, to Sacramento for the Police Memorial in Sacramento and Washington, D.C. I was a keynote speaker in California. And we paid tribute to all the fallen officers. Obviously in California, there was 6 this past year, including Keith Boyer. And then in Sacramento, we went, and that was for the entire United States. But the family, Keith's family went with us, and I got to tell you, they wanted me to pass along how appreciative they are to not only the police department and the council for all their support, but the community. It's one of these things. I talked to these other departments that they just could not believe the outpouring of support since last year when we lost Keith, and how it continues. It's very rare. You talk about other things that we do, such as things like this, that how many people show up, but it was just incredible. And I was getting, I mean, talk about Whittier being known. I had chiefs come up to me from other states saying, I saw it on Whittier, what you guys have done, what the city's done, and they were really impressed. So on behalf of the family, they wanted me to tell you, and it was a good opportunity for me to tell you today, that they really appreciate all your support, and they're doing well, and they just want to say thank you. So, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. Thanks again, Chief. Homelessness is another area that we're spending a lot of time on. We're in the midst of developing a homeless plan that is going to be coming forward to the City Council in July. Many people have been a part of that process. We've had a number of community meetings and efforts on that, so you'll see continued effort there. We also have a lot of folks that are partnering with us, and a lot of agencies out there, social service agencies, that we really appreciate that are helping us, and we're going to continue to be a leader in addressing those needs in our community. Crime legislation reform. Obviously, we've had concern with AB 109 and Props 47 and 57. I won't belabor this. There's been a lot of discussion about this through the years, last couple of years, but again, it's something we're paying a lot of attention to. We have joined with a number of other cities to look at the issue of the need for addressing these impacts of these particular laws. And so we're back, and part of the Taking Back Our Community Coalition, a number of other cities are working together to try and communicate the need in our communities and how we have to address the increases in crime. You are also probably aware, and Joe spoke about this a few moments ago, about the Keep California Safe initiative. Petitions have been submitted, and again, something for you to definitely track and follow as we get close to November. Fiscal issues. Okay, here's where the rubber meets the road, and this isn't the downer side of the presentation, but it is the sobering side of the presentation. Good side is revenues are up and we are seeing increases, and that is a good thing. But we do have some significant challenges. Healthcare and pensions are big issues and challenges for our community. We have kind of a whammy from the side. Our animal control contract with the county is going up a considerable amount and will actually go from around $79,000 a year to $555,000 a year over the next 5 years, and we didn't see this coming. They didn't communicate it until they said, here's your new bill. And we're like, okay, so the cities are reeling that are a part of the county system right now, and we're all talking and meeting with the county saying, you gotta help us, you can't hit us like this right now. We also have minimum wage increases, and so it doesn't sound like a lot, but all of your crossing guards and a lot of your part-timers are getting increases, and that's great for them, but it does hit our bottom line, and it is a part of the challenge that we have in operating a balanced budget. Just looking at our pension issues, this will give you an idea of the numbers, they will shift. We are basically seeing a doubling in our contribution and what we have to pay over the next 5 years for our retirees, so it's a big hit to our budget. Our revenues will not grow this fast, and so we're going to need to find some solutions as to how we continue to operate. Fortunately, we look at our overall balances, and we're in good shape. However, when you see deficits like this growing year after year after year, we have some huge challenges for how we continue to sustain operations. Our current balances are quite healthy. We've actually done very well. Whittier has a reputation and has had a reputation for being good stewards, sound financial management. So we have a current balance right now of $25 million in our general fund reserve. Back in the days when we were allegedly super funded, that's what PERS told us back in the late 90s, we actually were told not to send our check to Sacramento to PERS, and the council in their wisdom back then said, no, that doesn't sound right, so we're going to set that money aside that we normally would have sent to Sacramento to PERS. We're going to put it into a separate account here and hold it because we think that there's going to be a comeuppance. And it's happening now, and fortunately we have some money that will help us through that time. And then we have another $2.3 million for the library project, but we need a lot more. So, what are our work priorities? Well, we've been so busy this year, we didn't get to everything, so we have a few carryover items. We're looking at some city entry monument signage. We'll be looking at low water use landscape designs for Whittier Boulevard to comply with changes in state law, so we don't end up with just brown medians in the future. And then we're also looking at the depot and looking at a fencing design here because we have issues with the homeless coming in there, and so we need to protect that historic building. The council has also identified a number of other items, so we are going to be very busy this year. We have an awesome staff, but they are going to be humming along, and so some great things coming down the pike here in 2017 or 18-19. We also have the challenge of looking at our ongoing budgets. So how are we going to deal with things like pension and healthcare costs? How are we going to sustain mission critical services? Policing. Does the water come on? Sewer flow? Do we have the streets maintained? Those are going to be critical things. How do we sustain those things? How are we going to weigh reductions where we have to make reductions to be able to balance a budget? How do we weigh the potential for new revenue increases? Is this something that the community will support? We'll have to talk about those things. And the way we're doing that is the City Council has formed an Fiscal Sustainability Ad Hoc Committee, and so they'll be talking here in the next few months, kicking that off and weighing how do we go forward, how do we fund local government here in Whittier. Staying connected. The mayor talked about how important this is, and we're going to continue to amp that up. We're going to be talking about, obviously, all of these channels people can connect, but we're going to look at other ways as well. I'm actually going to be strengthening the city manager's office, and Katie is actually going to be moving over from community development over to the city manager's office in the new fiscal year to help strengthen our ability to communicate. Right now, that our city manager's office is Nancy and me, and that's it. We're a lean operation, but Katie's going to come in and join the city manager's office, and I'm looking forward to her being a partner and helping us communicate and help the community stay connected. So this summer, opportunities for you to be involved. We have movies in the park, we have summer concerts in the park, we have Hollywood Bowl trips, we have summer reading club, we've got all kinds of things happening. We just had our open house for the police department and health fair, and that was the CHP helicopter landing out there on Saturday morning. A lot going on. We also have 4th of July coming up. Again, put it on your calendar, get your family ready. Going to be a great event, very exciting. And then I also want to acknowledge this team right around the table here. They do so much. I'm up here the face and I'm talking about this, and we support the council, but it's really these folks that do so much of the work, and I just appreciate them. I just want to acknowledge them. And lastly, Nancy Mendes is going to be retiring here soon. She's been with us since 1980, teaching aerobics. Oh yeah, got the leggings on, the whole bit. Okay, but you can see she's held a number of roles with the city, and since 2002, she was Steve Helvey's right arm. She's been my right arm. And we're excited for her to retire, and we'll have other days to celebrate that. But I wanted to acknowledge her because she does so much. I just want to say thank you to her. That's it, folks. A lot going on. Thank you so much. Thank you to the Chamber. Appreciate the opportunity to get up and share with you.